In the world of art conservation, there is a golden rule. You never trust the surface. A painting might look like a flawless, beautiful masterpiece to the naked eye, but when you put it under an X-ray or an ultraviolet light, the canvas reveals all of its secrets. You see the mistakes the artist tried to cover up. You see the hidden layers. I have spent my entire life looking beneath the surface of beautiful things. I just never thought to shine a light on my own marriage. My name is Gabriel. I'm 42 years old, and I am a master art conservator. I run a highly secure, climate-controlled studio where I restore centuries-old paintings for museums and private billionaires. 6 years ago, I married Evelyn. Evelyn was a socialite who ran a sleek, ultra-modern art gallery downtown. She loved the VIP parties, the champagne, and the wealthy clients, but she absolutely hated my profession. Recently, an anonymous European collector entrusted me with the holy grail of the art world, a recently rediscovered, uncatalogued 17th century Baroque portrait by a Dutch master. Covered in 300 years of dirt and yellowed varnish, it looked like a dark smudge, but underneath, it was a masterpiece, appraised at roughly $3 million. I spent 3 months meticulously cleaning it, millimeter by millimeter, using tiny cotton swabs and mild solvents. It was the crowning achievement of my career. I told Evelyn it was our ticket to an early retirement, but Evelyn didn't want to wait for retirement. She wanted the money right now.
The shift happened when Evelyn's modern art gallery started failing. To save her business, she started taking meetings with a private art broker named Tristan. Tristan was a 45-year-old fraud in a bespoke Italian suit. He dealt in the gray market of the art world, moving pieces for oligarchs and shady collectors who wanted to avoid taxes. He wore ascots, smoked expensive cigars, and spoke with an unearned arrogance. Suddenly, Evelyn and Tristan were inseparable. "We are curating a new exhibition," she would tell me. But the red flags started bleeding through the canvas. First, the profound disrespect. Evelyn started openly mocking my studio. "Gabriel, you're basically a glorified janitor for dead painters," she laughed one night while drinking wine with Tristan. "Tristan shapes the modern culture. He creates markets. You just wipe dust off old canvas." Second, the sudden interest in my security. Evelyn, who usually avoided my studio because it smelled like chemicals, suddenly wanted a tour. She asked highly specific questions about the motion sensors, the camera blind spots, and the thickness of the vault door. Third, the travel schedule. I had been invited to a 4-day art history symposium in Roma. Evelyn heavily pressured me to go, insisting I needed to network and leave the paintings secured in the studio. I am a man who reconstructs the past for a living. I decided to reconstruct what my wife was doing in the present.
Evelyn used her iPad to manage her gallery's inventory. One evening, she left it charging on the kitchen counter while she was in the shower. A notification popped up from a secure messaging app called Signal. She had left the app unlocked. I tapped the screen. I didn't just find out my wife was sleeping with an art broker. I found a blueprint for a $3 million international heist. Tristan wrote, "The buyer in Geneva is confirmed. He operates out of a Swiss free port. He's willing to pay $2 million in untraceable cryptocurrency for the Dutch portrait. No questions asked. We just need the canvas." Evelyn replied, "The plan is flawless. Gabriel leaves for Rome on Thursday. On Friday night, I'll use his master code to disable the studio alarm, smash the window, and cut the painting out of the frame. I'll make it look like a smash and grab by a local gang. We fly to Switzerland on Saturday, make the exchange, and disappear. The janitor can cry to his insurance company." Tristan responded, "You're brilliant, my love. $2 million buys a lot of modern art. See you in Geneva." I stood in my quiet kitchen, the screen glowing in my hand. My wife was conspiring to steal a priceless piece of human history, frame a local gang,
commit federal insurance fraud, and run away with a gray market smuggler. They thought I was just a janitor. They didn't understand that a man who knows exactly how a masterpiece is made also knows exactly how to forge one.
If you want to catch an art thief, you don't lock the door. You leave it wide open, and you let them steal a bomb. I didn't yell. I didn't confront her. If I did, Tristan would deny everything, and they would just try a different angle. I needed them to steal the painting and transport it across international borders. That elevates it from a local burglary to a massive federal crime. I went to my studio in the middle of the night. I took the real, priceless 17th century masterpiece, sealed it in a climate-controlled titanium tube, drove to a high-security bank vault downtown, and locked it away. Then I went to work. I took a worthless, 300-year-old canvas from a ruined, unsalvageable painting I had in storage. Using period-correct rabbit skin glue, historical pigments, and aged linseed oil, I spent 48 hours straight painting an exact, millimeter-perfect visual replica of the Dutch masterpiece. To the naked eye, and even to a trained appraiser like Tristan, it looked absolutely authentic. But I am a master conservator. I know that multi-million-dollar art transactions always require a provenance check, and the standard test is X-ray fluorescence, XRF, which looks through the top layers of paint to verify the underdrawing. Before I painted the beautiful portrait on the top layer, I took a brush dipped in thick, pure lead white paint. Lead is completely opaque to X-rays. It blocks them entirely. Using the lead paint, I wrote a massive block letter message covering the entire bottom layer of the canvas. Then I painted the fake portrait over it, aged the varnish, and baked it in a heat kiln to create realistic cracking. I placed the booby-trapped forgery inside the original antique frame, locked my studio, kissed my cheating wife goodbye, and boarded my flight to Rome.
When I landed in Rome, I didn't go to the symposium. I went straight to the United States Embassy and requested an emergency meeting with the FBI legal attaché and an agent from the Interpol art crime team. I handed them a secure USB drive containing the screenshots of Evelyn's messages, the details of the buyer in the Swiss Freeport, and the proof that the real painting was safe in a US bank vault. My wife is currently staging a burglary at my studio in New York, I told the federal agents. Her accomplice, Tristan, is flying to Geneva tomorrow with a forged canvas to defraud a billionaire buyer. Let them cross the border. Let them try to sell it. The Interpol agent smiled. Mr. Morris, you have handed us an international smuggling ring on a silver platter. We will have agents waiting in Geneva. On Friday night, right on schedule, I received a frantic, hysterical phone call from Evelyn. Gabriel, it's a disaster, she fake sobbed into the phone. Someone broke into the studio. The alarm was bypassed. They cut the Dutch masterpiece right out of the frame. The police are here.
Oh my God, Evelyn, are you safe? I played the panicked, devastated husband perfectly. File the police report. I'll get the next flight home. While she was crying to the NYPD, Tristan was already in a first-class seat flying to Switzerland, holding a custom art tube containing my masterpiece of revenge.
I wasn't in the room in Geneva, but the Interpol reports and the security footage documented the entire glorious execution. Tristan swaggered into a highly secure private viewing room inside the Geneva Freeport, a massive, tax-free vault used by billionaires. The anonymous buyer was there, flanked by his private security and an independent art authenticator. Tristan proudly unrolled the canvas. The buyer was mesmerized. The visual forgery was flawless. "It is magnificent," the buyer said. "But for a $2 million crypto transfer, standard protocol applies. Run the X-ray." Tristan smirked confidently, sipping sparkling water. "Of course, it's absolutely authentic." The authenticator placed the canvas onto the scanning table and turned on the digital X-ray monitor. The machine hummed, penetrating the top layers of oil paint. The image appeared on the massive 4K monitor on the wall. It didn't show the expected 17th century charcoal underdrawings. Instead, the lead white paint I had used blocked the X-rays completely, glowing bright, blinding white on the black screen. In massive, undeniable block letters across the entire canvas, the X-ray read, "Counterfeit. This is a forgery.
stolen property of Gabriel. Interpol has been notified. Tristan froze. The glass of sparkling water slipped from his hand and shattered on the marble floor. The buyer stared at the screen, his face turning purple with rage. He looked at Tristan. "You arrogant piece of trash," the buyer whispered. "You tried to scam me." The buyer didn't hesitate. He nodded to his security guards, who instantly locked the heavy steel doors of the viewing room. Before Tristan could even stammer out an excuse, the doors opened again. Plainclothes agents from Interpol and the Swiss Federal Police walked in, badges flashing. "Tristan, last name," the lead agent said, pulling out handcuffs. "You are under arrest for international art forgery, fraud, and smuggling."
The smoke is clearing.
Tristan was absolutely terrified of the Swiss police and the angry billionaire. He broke down crying in the interrogation room within 20 minutes, completely confessing and throwing Evelyn under the bus. He gave them her phone records, proving she disabled the alarm and stole the painting. Meanwhile, Evelyn was sitting in our New York apartment, waiting for her crypto wallet to update with her millions. Instead, the FBI kicked down her front door at 6 a.m. Because she had filed a false police report, disabled a security system to commit grand larceny, and conspired to commit international wire fraud, she was arrested in her pajamas and dragged out in handcuffs in front of all our wealthy neighbors. The fallout was an absolute masterpiece. Tristan's gray market art business was seized by federal authorities. He was sentenced to 7 years in a European prison. Evelyn's modern art gallery went bankrupt instantly. No artist or client wants to be associated with a convicted federal art thief. She avoided maximum prison time by taking a plea deal, but she is a registered felon. During our divorce, she had absolutely zero defense. The judge was disgusted by her actions. I was awarded 100% of our marital assets, the apartment, and my studio. She walked away with massive legal debt and a ruined life.
It's been 3 years since that trip to Rome. When I returned to the US, I retrieved the real 17th century masterpiece from the bank vault. I finished the restoration, and the anonymous billionaire collector was so thrilled with my work and so amused by how I protected his asset that he paid me double my original commission fee. I expanded my studio and now only take on projects that I genuinely love. Last I heard, Evelyn is working the checkout register at a generic craft supply store. She spends her days scanning cheap tubes of acrylic paint, far removed from the high society art world she thought she was going to rule. If there is a lesson to be learned here, it's this: a beautiful top layer means absolutely nothing if the canvas underneath is corrupt. If your partner only values your price tag and tries to sell your hard work to the highest bidder, don't fight them, don't yell. Just take a step back, build them the perfect fake, and let them proudly present it to a room full of people who know exactly how to look beneath the surface. Thanks for listening to my story. If you enjoyed this one, drop a like, hit subscribe, and let me know in the comments, what's the worst knockoff you've ever accidentally bought? Stay sharp and always check the layers.